and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today our focus is going to be reusable, recyclable, whatever the word is you'd like to use, cards that we can use over and over again and aren't just one-use cards. So today I'm going to be using some patterned paper. I am going to quickly make the card with you, a couple of cards, and then we're going to focus on the inside of cards. So this is the Scrapbook Customs Baby Boy set here. Now these are super cheap, these paper packs. That was maybe $3 I think, and there is a discount going at the moment too, so you get more off that, but these are just really good solid pages that you can use for a whole lot of things, not just Baby Boy. Now I love these greys. This is just going to create a little bit of background noise for us. Now by all means you could go ahead and stamp something exactly the same onto your background. You could definitely just mask off a border if you wanted a border. Then you could stamp a whole background stamp and have something very, very similar. Now this is the Sunflower Fields Forever from Catherine Paula. I got some new paper packs recently, so have been thoroughly enjoying using those. I seem to go through phases of card making where sometimes I prefer ink and stamping and die cutting and all those good things, and then other times I love the ease of ready-made products like paper packs or ephemera or those sorts of things. But yeah, I have a whole mixture of videos on my channel, in fact nearly 1,000 of them. So if you are interested in, I would say, any type of card making, I have it pretty well covered on my channel. So go ahead and subscribe. Give me that little thumbs up button as well. That really helps my channel. Thank you so much. And then anyhow, we're moving back into the card. I've got 3 strips that were each 1/2 inch wide. This is just to create a little bit of interest on the front of our relatively plain card front so far. And I'm going to use those 3 pieces that I used. I'm going to reuse those over and over again. So I'm actually going to use the entire 6x6 piece of each of those so that we have a nice reoccurring theme all throughout the card, through the inside and the outside. So I'm going to create a black matte border for this card as well. So that's going to go around the card front, and that just is a very, very slim, tiny little border, but it makes all the difference in just really making it pop off the front. My card today is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, so just my standard normal sized A2 card front, and then I'm going to pop this on just all using liquid glue so that I can move everything around and everything can be exactly where I want it to go without having to have perfect placement first off. So there we go, we've got most of the first elements created, the background anyhow. We have some nested fancy circle dies. Now these are obviously from Scrapbook.com. I have die cut out the 2 center dies there, so this one and then this one, and this is what I get from them, and I'm going to add 2 of the pieces together from each of them. So I will put the rest that I don't use, I always store them in the back of my packaging rather than in my little scraps pile, because I won't reach for it if it's in my scraps pile, but I will if it's in the back of the packaging next time I need it. Then from the Roseland collection from Stamperia, I have the die cuts here. These are beautiful. I actually have an entire video that's either out or coming out using these because I really, really like these. I've not played with them much before. I've not dealt with them much, but I purchased these just looking for something a little bit different, and they are beautiful. So they have these gorgeous wagon wheels, which I really liked the look of, but actually I saw a little bird in there that's even more beautiful. He's going to be a great little focal point. I've got some florals there as well. So I'm going to take, as I said, the inside circle from that bigger one, and then I'm going to take the decorative element from the smaller one, add some glue around this, some matte medium. This is the Ranger Multi-Medium in the matte finish, and that is just going to create some white on white interest. Now I will hold this up a little bit closer to the camera and just look at that beautiful detail. It's all these little details that I think absolutely make this. Now I'm going to cut these chipboard images. They're not hard to cut at all, which I love. I was really surprised by that, wondering if I'd be able to get my scissors through them, but actually it worked out perfect. It was really good. So nice and easy to adjust them and change them to what I need. So I'm going to have this little sort of floral arrangement down the bottom, and then this little bird, which I'll pop up on a tiny little bit of foam, and then he's going to sit and just perch there, and that will be a beautiful focal point for the front of our card. Now I'm going to make this piece, I think it's about 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 inches, and that is simply because that was sort of what was left over there on that piece. As I said, I'm going to use up all of those pieces today. Now we are going to create a reusable insert for the card, but a little bit of a cute one. Some of my subscribers had sent me in some mail, and a few of them have this in the middle of their cards, and I really love the idea of this beautiful reusable cards because we put so much time and effort into them, and then obviously some of them get chucked in the bin, and it's okay, but some of them, yeah, it would be nice to think that they could be passed on again and again rather than single use. So I have been leaning towards doing this more recently, and I thought I would share it with you. Now this is one of the ways. I'm going to show you more ways that you could go about this, but sometimes I create a little envelope here, very basic, have a square, turn it like a diamond, fold in the 2 edges. I do find the center, that's what I found with that the ruler at the right there, the Tim Holtz one, it is a 0 centered ruler, so it has 0 in the middle. That way I can find the middle of things without having to do any measuring or any maths. And then I create this very, very simple little envelope. I round off the corners of the top and the bottom. I add adhesive to one of them, and that way it creates the flap that closes the envelope. And then the top obviously is the top of the envelope. And this means that we can put a little insert that people will write on. I'm going to provide the insert, and when I give these away, I put them into some packaging. I often add more inserts so that it also gives the idea that it's very reusable. So while all of that is being put together, we are going to finish off the inside here. Again, this is the one of the pieces that I used on the front of the page. As I said, we're going to use up everything today. And here is my little envelope that is going to go in the middle of the card. Now, obviously this creates a little bit of bulk, but depending on the cardstock that you use. If you use just a paper, very thin paper, this is going to create little to no bulk. No more certainly than putting a regular insert in the middle of the card as well. So for me, it's definitely worth it to think this can be reused again and again rather than being chucked in the bin. So I add plenty of double-sided tape to the back there. Sometimes I prefer to make these elements a little bit more sturdy out of good cardstock because, again, if they're going to be reused over and over, I don't want anything sort of bending or looking a bit worn and shabby. So sometimes it's worth the extra bulk if you would like to put a little bit more heavyweight in the center. So we have the centerpiece nearly done. We need to create just a little plain insert, and I'm actually going to use some, again, patterned paper. Now this Catherine Pooler paper is only single-sided, so it means that it creates a perfect insert, doesn't it? And everything is going to match and look really nice together. You're actually not going to see the green on the other side of this, of course. The person will when they take it out and read their message and what's on it. But other than that, you won't see the green at all. It's just a white piece of paper. I cut it down and then I just round the corners so that it just looks a little more finished. You could definitely add a little tassel or a tag or something like that. Again, I'm going for less bulk in the center, and so here's a little insert that can just pop in and out. Yes, it does restrict the amount of space that you can write on, but I find I just write smaller, more efficiently, and I can still fit the exact messages that I want to. You could also stamp on the back there a little greeting depending on what the card is, but with leaving no sentiment on this, I find that this is such a versatile card that somebody could pass on for so many different occasions. And that's the goal here, that I don't sort of, label it and put it into a little corner. By putting a sentiment on it, it can be used over and over again. So here is card number 1 finished, and I hope that this gives you some great ideas. But what if you don't want to make the envelope? Well, these are some things that I don't always have time to do, so I wanted to show you a couple of different options. Now here is a card that I made using some quilting dies that I got, and I showed you all the different ways to do the quilting. I will add that video up here in the top right hand corner. There is the Stitched with Love paper pad. Now I just go through it, I find a leftover scrap that I have, so it's going to match. I do love that purple gingham, but then when I turned it over, those gorgeous florals are just really lovely. And so I was fighting with myself at this point about which side I wanted to use. Now, you could forget this insert altogether. You absolutely don't need it. This is just something to help the little envelope that we put in here stand off the page a little bit more. But you absolutely don't need this. I'm just adding it just because. So I'm going to go with the florals side. Now, a couple of different things that I have found that are sort of instant ready-made. Now, I am a gardener. I love my garden. I love growing veggies for my family. And so I have a lot of these little seed packets. Now, this is, again, it could be a little bit small for what you need, but if it's too small, then you could just cut it the other way. So cut it across the top like this way if you need a slightly bigger insert to go in it. But this is just one option where you don't have to create the whole envelope, and all you can do is just, you can cut it off where you want it to go. Doesn't matter. I'm going to cut it about 2/3 of the way up or so. You can either just use your scissors, or a trimmer is going to work perfectly fine. And then just to give a little like a little place where you can grip the insert and things, I'm going to take a circle die, and I'm just going to pop it on the halfway up, so half on the little thing, to create a little space where you can grab the card. I'm using the Hero Arts Infinity die set, and I couldn't recommend stacking dies enough. They are just so handy for everything. You might even have a punch that could do this as well, and that would be much quicker too. So then I have my little insert ready to go. Now, another option that I often use is these little pillow boxes. Now, I have a stash of these for various reasons over the years. They are often great for putting little trinkets in, little gifts, little baking, little something. And so this is how they're meant to go. However, we're going to use them a little bit different today. I tend to just cut off the tops and the bottoms. They don't fold in as you would sort of, you could do. I do like the idea it has that little pocket there, that little see-through element to it. I really like that. You may not like that, and you might like to choose to put the packaging up the other way so that that pocket, that see-through side is face down. That's always an option too. This is how I close up the bottom. I just put a little bit of double-sided tape in there, rip it off, and then it's a nice little pocket ready to go. I don't mind that little see-through element. I quite like that as well. I think it's really nice. But for this one, there's a whole lot of white going on, so I'm going to pop the little craft colored one and just put plenty of double-sided tape on there, and this is nice and sturdy to be reused over and over again. I'll also create a little insert to go inside this. As I said, this one's going to be nice and straight, not on an angle, and that way it can be reused over and over again. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video today. This is something a little bit different for me, and I've just sort of recently started doing this with my cards, and of course I have no idea actually if the recipients will carry on this trend, but I figure if I provide the inserts and I provide the cards, then hey, maybe it will make a difference. So I hope that these can be used over and over again. Now, of course, I will put all of the links down in the description box below. As I said, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you like these videos. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, bye.